Federal government has condemned the shooting of an immigration officer by a Chinese businessman in Minna, Niger State, warning that the incident might cause a major diplomatic role because no Nigerian should be ill-treated for doing legitimate duty in their land. Minister of Interior Dr. Lubomi Tunjuju, who was visibly angry over the incident, said the action of the Chinese businessman was not only condemnable but unacceptable, saying that the Nigerian government would take up the issue at the diplomatic level. He revealed that an innocent immigration officer on routine duty visited a Chinese company in Minna, Niger State, to ask questions on a work permit, only for the Chinese businessman involved to order his security to shoot the immigration officer, and the officer was shot. The minister, who talked tough over the incident on Thursday in Abuja during a stakeholders sensitization workshop on the implementation of the Nigeria Visa Policy 2025, vowed that the government would not treat the issue with levity to avoid reoccurrence. He noted that as minister, he had sworn to an oath to the Constitution and Nigerian laws that were meant to protect the officer who was shot, not by a terrorist. He said, "I want to go to China as a Nigerian, open a company, and tell my security to shoot a government official in uniform. It's never done anywhere in the world. Those officers put their lives on the line. Those officers serve the country with their all. And you will not come from anywhere and ask them to shoot them in their fatherland. It will no longer happen," he said. "We will take it up with you because that company, we have the power to withdraw their business in Nigeria and declare them illegal." This story has actually been one of the story trending on top of the headlines as of yesterday. I would love to get your thoughts on this, considering there's so much power we give to most of these expatriates when we see them, especially the road constructors that oftentimes we see in Nigeria. I really want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think this officer will really get justice as he deserves, just like Tunjuju has said?
Well, I love your statement. We give them so much respect, these expatriates, these foreigners. Whereas the contrast is the case. We are not regarded over there in their areas. We are treated, but I am not saying that we should, reciprocate such by treating them bad. Let them understand, let the world know that Nigeria is very hospitable, where everybody is the same, we're equal. Whether you're a stranger, a foreigner, whether you're a citizen, you're treated, same. There's no discrimination. Let the world know it. Yes. The issue of whether he will get justice is what we don't know. Because if the Nigerian factor plays out, whereby, I keep saying it in this studio, that most times you hear the beginning of a story, you won't hear the end. How they settle it, how they probe into it, into the matter further, we may not hear anything about that again. Probably, I don't know, they may opt for private settlement, and that ends it. But the proper thing is, the Chinese should face the law. It's conspiracy to murder. And the stupid security officer.
And he is a Nigerian.
A Nigerian. You were asked to shoot your brother, who is doing same job with you. You foolishly obeyed. If he had reasoned and resisted that, oh God, this man is not posing any threat. He didn't come here with arms. Why should I shoot him? Follow the rules of engagement. I wonder whether that person is a trained police personnel. I wonder. It may be a hired private personnel. I don't think. They need to investigate and find out more. They need to probe into that. But if it's a trained law enforcement agent, should act by the rules of engagement. The man came for a legitimate duty, carrying out his routine responsibility. he wasn't posing any threat. He didn't come with arms. He didn't come with thugs or mob. Why shooting him? It wasn't even ordinary beating, which is also an offense. It would have been, well, at least it would have been lighter. But now you took the life of a family man. What would be the hope of his dependents? No, there should be appropriate justice to be meted out. I mean, punishment to the offender and justice. The
offender, which is a Chinese.
Yeah, the Chinese.
Okay, I'm going to hold you here, sir. You talked about justice, and I made mention of an instance where most of these expatriates are given. You see them on heavy convoy oftentimes with so much
treated as if they are the president here.
Okay, let's have that at the back of our minds. A common Nigerian that gets into a situation with a civilian that is of the elite, or probably has a connection and whatnot. Let's say a common Nigerian and this elite has a situation and the common Nigerian loses his life. Oftentimes, we see how the situation turned out to be from this elite side, because he knows people that know people and he has money to know how to go around it. Imagine now this one that gets treated as the president of the country. Do you think that common man will also get the justice he deserves in his country?
Hold on. I don't want to be hearing that common. Nobody is common.
Nobody is common.
It is discriminating to describe anyone as a common Nigerian.
But you know how the structure has been in this country. Who do you know? What do you have? Who would come for you?
Yes, it is social discrimination.
So much of them in
because you have money does not place you above any other person. We have equal rights based on the 1999 Constitution.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to say. You talked about justice, and I was trying to give an illustration.
Now, what you are trying to say, I know where you are riding at, but I want to clear that before Nigerians, that there's nobody is a commoner in Nigeria. I know where you're driving at, because you are trying to talk about the imbalance in justice system.
Yes.
That is the corruption we are talking about. The highest bidder gets a fairer judgment. That is what you are trying to insinuate. Yeah, it's not supposed to be so. It is because we do not hold strong to the tenets of the Constitution, which states the equality of every Nigerian. Nobody is above the law. The principle of rule of law says that you, if you are the president, I, as an ordinary citizen, I don't want to call common, we have the same rights based on the 1999 Constitution as amended. The right you have is the right I have. Right to fair hearing, right to liberty, freedom of speech, religion and freedom of thought and all the rest. Freedom of, none should be discriminated against based on religion, sex, or tribe, region. We all, as Nigerians, have the same rights, equal rights, and therefore it is corruption that is bringing this in you are trying to insinuate about. Corruption in high places by the law officers, corruption in judiciary, corruption everywhere by political office holders. That is why people suffer discrimination. These discriminatory tendencies, we are not there. It's not enshrined in the Constitution. But because it has been unofficially institutionalized and nobody cares, we are shouting, we are talking every day. That is why we come here in the studio. So that these things will be eradicated from our consciousness. Corruption, bribery should be killed by them. They are the ones. And my prayer every day is what they do to these people you call common Nigerians, may them face it. Let them face it so that they will see how you see what is happening. Look at what is happening in the political landscape of political space. When you are not in power, they will commonize you. They will make a mess of you. When you are no longer in power, they make a mess of that person. You see, that is the thing. So I keep praying for them every day. Let them face all those repercussions and consequences. The way, because you are in power today, you tend to look down on everyone. When you are out of power, the reverse becomes the case.
Okay, so you've talked about corruption continuously, and let's look at it on a different angle. This Chinese man, they have laws that guide and protect them in his country, and we're sure that this action, it's not something that he would do in his country.
He can never even try it.
Do we say that?
And no Nigerian, no foreigner can try such in
his
China.
country, just like Olubunmi Tunji just stated at the time that he actually made the statement. Do you think that this Chinese did this action because he has considered the country a lawless, in quotes, allegedly, to an extent that anything can pass by, anything can just go? Because according to the story, he just instructed the officer guarding him to just shoot the immigration officer just like that. You know, we really do not know the story deep down, but whatever it may, I do not think it warrants taking the life of someone. You know, do you think that this expatriate has come to that decision that anything can go? What's the big deal that can happen? Of
course, that is it. Because
before he actually decided.
Yes. He has known, or he thinks this is not the first time we've heard such a thing in this country, where these expatriates, especially these Chinese people, are committing such obnoxious acts against Nigerians. The ill treatments they mete out to their workers, because they so much commonize us, because they have seen our government to be weak. We can settle it with money. Of course, he is not a madman. He has conscience. He has thinking. A company owner or a high-ranking officer in their company shouldn't have been a mad person, shouldn't have been an insane person. So he knows within him that these things will not, it can be settled anyhow. Yes. So that is, and I want Nigeria to live up to the expectations of the citizens of this country. They should not sweep this under the carpet. They should not allow it to just go ordinarily like that. I commend the minister who is taking it up, and I want to encourage him not to allow this to be swept under the carpet. He should show Nigerians indeed that they have our interests at heart, and let justice be given to the man who was shot and his family, and let the adequate punishment, which is either more life imprisonment or death penalty, be meted out to the culprit.
Thank you so much.